Good morning, everyone. Mike McConville here again, Stratford, Ontario, Canada, for stringtech workstations. We are all set up and ready to go. We are going to create the fingerboard radius in real time. I have my 12-inch radius gauge to sort of check this top end as we kind of hone in. So let's get started. So what we're doing here is we're chasing the center of the radius down before we touch those outside edges. Most of the material is coming off the middle of the fingerboard. Okay, now that we're that close, I'm going to switch over to 120 and I'm going to chase it back a little bit further. So I'm blending as I go, and I actually am chasing this now to that outside edge. As I mentioned in the previous video, I did load the truss rod a little bit, so a little load on there, so when we let off, we'll have some relief. Close, but not quite there yet. I have mentioned this in previous videos as well, and that is I actually do an 8 count when I'm sanding. 1, 2, 3. And make my way from side to side. And doing my best to keep the block in line with the string path. Sorry about that, I stopped for a second to answer the phone. We will continue now. Top end, we've got a perfect 12-inch radius there. So now we're just going to back up towards the first fret. And now we're finally going to start chasing to the outside edge. When the job is done, you want to feel a sharp edge on that outside so that the underside of the crown seats tight against the wood. Now we're going full length. Right at the very end it's 12, and then that gauge starts to rock as you move away from that 12-inch radius. At the top we're pretty close to our original radius, a little tiny bit shallower. So you just check this for flatness. Beautiful. We're almost done. Now I've got my 180 grit. And this is our final run of preparation and completion of the compound radius. Just about ready for frets. Anyway, I think you get the idea. This is real time. We basically created that compound radius. You got to remember, I'm going a lot slower because I'm filming this for your benefit. Otherwise, I would have been done by now. So another precaution you need to take is because we've taken more material off this end, we have to check. I've got this depth gauge that allows me to check the depth of the slot, and it looks like we've got to come down a little bit deeper yet on those top few frets. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm working from the outside edge to the center, or just past center, and then I'll go around the other side to work this edge. That's looking better already. Let's check that again. Oh yeah, we got lots of room there now. This is an Incra ruled or depth gauge. Very handy tool, especially for this job. You can also use it for checking the depth of the tang, which in this case it is a 1/16 of an inch. Now we can check it and we know we've got plenty of room. When we drive that fret home, it's not going to get hung up. I'm going to stop for a second and just explain my own sort of calligraphy or the system that I use when I'm doing a fret job. Now, as you can see, and you've seen this in previous videos, I have that high density foam on the upper platform of the GPS tack deck, and I jam the frets into that foam after I cut them to their approximate length. Now, that first time through, I have that piece of yellow tape along the edge of the fingerboard. Just to keep track, each time I cut a fret to its initial length, I mark a little tick on the tape on the edge of the fingerboard. The next step is to grind and polish the fret down within a few thou of its finished length. And when I'm at that stage, well, I go through all the frets again and I make that little X. And this helps me to keep all the frets in order. Just wanted to kind of take a break and kind of show you the system. So that's what the fret looks like after I clip it to length. And this is what it looks like after I've cut, beveled, and polished. So this fret is actually ready to drive home. So I'm going to finish up the rest of them, and then all of the frets will be ready to snap up and go.